If I ever get pregnant with a son, I'm returning it to the sender because I don't want to raise one. I don't care.
You're talking about deleting a baby just because it's male. Just because it's male. This is probably why all her partners have been potential partners. Welcome to the Coffee Pod. My name is Chisha Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Guys, today we're going to be looking at a serious case of TikTok brain. If you don't know what that is, basically, it's what happens to your brain when all you do is watch TikTok, but you're not filtering it out with some, yes, you guessed it, coffee. But we know.
I don't drink coffee.
They don't drink coffee. And so they end up like this chick who says, if I get married and end up bearing a son, I will most likely get that son deleted. Don't believe me? Check it out for yourself. Let's get it.
This might be controversial, but I obviously don't care. I always tell my potential partners, if I ever get pregnant with a son, I'm returning it to the sender because I don't want to raise one. I don't care.
Notice how she said potential partners. And in case you didn't hear what she said because you weren't paying attention, and it's just worth repeating one more time because it's literally crazy. Let's check it out one more time.
This might be controversial, but I obviously don't care. I always tell my potential partners, if I ever get pregnant with a son, I'm returning it to the sender because I don't want to raise one. I don't care.
Who's the sender? You're talking about deleting a baby just because it's male. Just because it's male. This is probably why all her partners have been potential partners. Let's keep listening.
I don't care. I might as well be one of those people that flip out and cry when they're having a girl at a gender reveal because I do not want to have a son. I don't want to raise one. I do not want to potentially raise someone's abuser. I don't want to potentially raise someone in this society. I just don't see a possibility of raising someone that doesn't contribute to a woman suffering in some way. And I just don't want to be a part of that. I don't think that it's worth having one.
This is a woman. That's the end of the video, but we have 3 more to play that will prove that this is a woman who believes that men in general are evil. But I find that hard to understand, seeing as how she plans to still somehow get married.
I really do feel like I'm going to marry somebody that works at Trader Joe's because sometimes when they're talking to me, I'm like, what are we doing after this?
So you might be thinking, well, she can't possibly think all men are evil because she plans to marry a man. No, she really believes that all men have a deep-seated hate for women. There are a lot of chicks online who have the same type of theory. That whole idea of deleting a particular gender really reminds me of the now banned YouTuber Cynthia G, who was encouraging black women to delete black boys and not fall through with those pregnancies and only give birth to young black girls. And it went unnoticed for a long time until people began to take a closer look at her content. Hey guys, did you know that I'm on Facebook? Go ahead and hit that link pinned to the top of the comment section. If you're on Facebook, give me a follow. You can keep track of current content, shorts, and also older content if you are following me on Facebook. Appreciate you guys. Back into the video.
See a possibility of raising someone that doesn't contribute to a woman suffering in some way. And I just don't want to be a part of that. I don't think that it's worth having one.
Do you know how chronically online you have to be to have a take like this? People that literally walk past, drive past, and interact with hundreds of men on a daily will jump through enormous hoops to try to turn all men into some dangerous monolith. By your framework, you believe that a man's life is not worth the salt on the ground because of potentiality. What's next? You might as well say that we should get rid of all the boys and the men that are already here. You know what I mean? Because it's never too late to keep those animals from walking around. People like this love to pretend as if their argument is based on probability, when in reality, if it actually was, they would keep this same energy with women as a whole, or they just wouldn't make these nonsensical claims in the first place. I've said it once and I'll say it again. Imagine using the crime statistics to make the same exact argument for something like race. You literally have to completely ignore the majority of men, including the innovators, the role models, the protectors, the providers, the heroes, the fathers, the sons, and the innocents in order to rationalize these kinds of takes. People like this will continue to push the gender war, and then when you call them out on it, they'll say, well, I didn't make myself this way, and then they'll blame men and capitalism somehow, as if they don't have agency over their own actions. You have to go outside. Stop attempting to rationalize generalized hate, especially if you don't keep that same energy outside, especially if you don't keep that same energy to these people's faces, and especially if you don't keep that same energy with literally any other group.
What's crazy to me is on TikTok, this is the type of content that thrives. She's not saying, oh, I fear having the type of son who'll be a danger to society. No, she's just using a blanket statement of basically saying all young boys, in her opinion, shouldn't be allowed life if she would have anything to do with it. And she believes that all men hate women and somehow also plans to get married. There's so much confusion here. TikTok brain is a real thing. And in case you're like, oh, she can't possibly believe all men are like this, yeah, check it out.
One of the hardest pills to swallow for me as a woman has been accepting that it really is all men. It's all of them. Even if it's not to an insane extent, like actively being violent towards women and things like that. To some degree, they participate in misogyny. To some degree, they are passive about it. Like, I have men in my life that I think highly of, but even with them, I know that to some degree they're okay with misogyny and they're okay with participating in it and the things that come with it. So, yeah, every once in a while, I'm like, I kind of don't want to talk to any of you guys ever again.
And I want to make it clear, guys, because this is not just, because I know someone's going to leave the comment of, oh, black women. No. There are a lot of white women. There are a lot of different nationalities of women who support the same type of rhetoric. I mean, here's one in the comment section right here. She says it's all of them, especially the ones who say they're completely separate from the bad men. Somebody else here added, I drop men friends left and right for stuff. I really suggest all women do the same. Here's another commenter who says exactly, especially the fact that all men will value and treat women solely based on if they are physically attracted to her or not. Somebody else who says all men have victims. Somebody else here added all men are misogynistic for sure. And if you're curious to know what are the comments to that first video, the first one she did, where she was basically talking about if she had a son, she would get rid of him. Well, that got the attention of men for sure. Here's what they had to say. The first commenter says, now this is genuine brain rot. Somebody else here added, I understand the sentiment, but this is something you should write in a diary or tell a therapist. Right. Somebody else here says, so valid. This is a chick. It's a chick who can relate. Somebody else here says, everyone hating, but you're right. Mind you, these comments are from that first video she said of if I had a son, I'm returning it back to the sender. That could only mean one thing. Here's somebody else who says, I get the sentiment, but this is dangerous close to certain less than favorable ideologies. Yeah, like eugenics and all type of other stuff that have led to the mass destruction of people. Somebody else here says, I'm sure you are a fun person to spend time with. She responded back and says, especially because I don't spend time with men. Somebody else here says, same, I'm doing IVF and choosing a girl for this reason. The IVF thing, man. People treat IVF like it's just this thing that just works so quickly and immediately and don't understand that there's so much that's involved in that. Somebody else here says, this is actually crazy. Somebody else here added, same, it's why I'm not having kids. Okay, good. Yeah, we don't need people who listen to this and are okay with it to have kids. We've got another comment here that says, I'm with you. Crazy, crazy video. Keep in mind, guys, that if I was to hear a man say something like that, I would call that out and say, that's wrong. I don't agree with that. But if any man was to ever get on any platform and make a statement like that, they would automatically lose their platform. People would be swarming in to attack them, all types of stuff. But again, we live in a gynocentric society, and this type of misandry towards men is accepted. Guys, listen, of course, I'm curious to know, what do you think? Leave your comments down below. I appreciate you as always for checking out yet another episode of The Coffee Pot. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.